You're listening to the Jaybird Watching Podcast, the official podcast of jaysjournal.com and fansided.com. We are the official ballroom chat for everything Toronto Blue Jays baseball, from game highlights to rumors and all the stuff in between. Here is your host, Craig Borden, with co-hosts Jason Lyons and Liz McGuire. Now let's talk some Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Good evening, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another evening of the Jaybird Watching Podcast. I am your host, Craig Borden. With me, Liz, the collectible McGuire. Liz, how the hell are you doing post-holidays?
I'm really good. I had a lovely holiday time. That's it. I had a lovely holiday time. I don't know. I got fatter, and I'm proud of that, and I worked really hard at it. I ate a lot. I drank a lot. That was my time.
You took one for the team, or many beers for the team, is what it sounds like.
Always.
Or at least that's what I'm doing right now. But maybe that's just because I hurt my back and I'm sick of carrying this team. Not this team, the Blue Jays, apparently. So let's dive into it, Liz, because last week, Jason and I had the pleasure of talking about the, I'll say, levels of horrible interview that Vlad Jr. had presented with the Spanish media at that point. What were your thoughts and takeaways and all the, like I said, good, bad, ugly from that?
My takeaway from that interview was at least we hear what Vlad is saying, right? We haven't heard anything from him firsthand. So that was a good thing. I'm like, okay, we're hearing what he's saying. We're hearing what he's thinking. I liked what he said, maybe, and like in that he gave us a line. If we do not come to agreement by this time, which is the first day of spring training, I'll be entertaining free agency, right? Yeah. I like that. It at least gave us something to aim for. I have a large fear in my heart that Blue Jays will pull a move close to what the Angels did with Ohtani, which is they will hold on to him till it's too late to get anything for him, and then he will walk. So I think it reminds us that, yes, I want it, and I'm adamant on Twitter, and I say it all the time, extend Vladdy, please do that. But if you're not going to extend Vladdy, figure out what you're going to do. Make a plan, understand your moves, and be willing to make those moves. Draw the line in the sand, figure out what you want to do, rather than letting Vladdy walk, not re-signing him, and getting nothing when he goes to free agency. So that was it. And I was like, it wasn't anything new to me. I mean, I think he made mention of the fact that they wouldn't start him, I think, because he was in bad shape coming back from he walked into camp in bad shape. That was in there.
Oh, come on.
No,
there was some pieces to that, but I get it. But
no,
yeah, there was some of that.
Let's not forget he was in such bad shape he couldn't finish his first season. So it's show up in good shape. You need to do that. You couldn't finish your whole first season with the team. You need to do that. You need to be better. Vlad is in great shape. I get really upset when people slam him. He does the splits. He does excellent acrobatic displays. He looks like Kung Fu Panda out there. And
100%.
But yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed. I will wait till we hit till the first day of spring training to understand kind of the implications of the moves made on this team. Maybe we'll get a power bat. Maybe we'll make some more moves. So I'm not going to be as negative yet as I think some other members of the fan base are, which is fine if you want to do that. This is what I'm doing.
We're still 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
So I'm just going to hold off.
Plenty of time to get something done, but what could be done? And I think you nailed it with the big one is got to land Vladdy. And you have to do it now.
And so I don't know. As much as I love shitting on this front office, but I'm going to wait and see what their plan is. Maybe they've got some things in the books. I don't know. I'm going to wait. And so I'll see where we are coming into spring training. But, I mean, are we going to be contending? Here's the thing. Are we going to be contenders next year? Well, no. We were never going to be. We have so many holes to fill that we were never going to be contenders unless, we go on a super hot streak. And, wouldn't that be beautiful? But, that's
if you're going to be competitive this year, you need all the best from our main 3 starters that we have, Bassett, Barrios, and Gausman. You need the best. You need all-star performances from those 3 guys, which we have been getting for the most part. Bass had his ups and downs, but then you need MVP Vlad and you need MVP Bo Bichette.
It's a long season.
And that is a long shot at this point for Blue Jays fans. And you have to have something to hold your hand on. But We lost Teoscar. He re-signs with the Dodgers again.
Which
you lose all these other players. We were always the runner-up. We have just as many World Series if you were as the Yankees. If you were talking about how many times the Blue Jays have been close to signing somebody. So,
man, I will say this: I've been a bridesmaid 7 times in my life. 7 times. Okay. Now I would never want it to be the bride. That was never my game. I was a bridesmaid. It's fun to party. It's fun to wear the little silly poofy dresses or whatever. That does suck the amount of money you got to spend. But that's where the Jays are at now. They're always the fucking bridesmaid, and they're gunning for the bride. They're thirsty. They're they've been told they're thirsty. Jays are thirsty, which is good. Means they're competitive, but they're not. So it's I feel like the key component here is they didn't re-sign those key pieces. Who is going to be the team in 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Couldn't tell you. Who is the core they're building around? Couldn't tell you. There's so many gaps in their future that it's hard to lure people in, right? There's this thing that Canadians love to say, well, you're playing for a whole country. Yeah, but that's not why people join baseball. It's a fun plus, I'm sure, but that's not why they join baseball. They join baseball to
carry on the top
championships and get the bag, right? And if they don't see it with the Jays, they don't see it with the Jays.
Yep. And so I guess that brings us up to the next point here. And I want to throw Cam Jenkins's comment up here because I think it echoes some of the stuff that we were talking about. He agrees with you the fact that they don't sign him. They got to get rid of him. They got to get something for him. I'm wondering, and this is me personally, you already know that this team in 2025 can't compete. Vlad's trade value is way more right now where you can give it for somebody for the whole 2025 season than it can be for this. The problem that you lose in that whole equation is that you trade him, you are 100% in a rebuild, and there will not be asses in those seats.
Then that's what I think. I'm good with the rebuild. Mm-hmm. But again, I will say it for everybody listening, not with these assholes. These assholes.
That would be the problem.
Leading Shapiro and Shapiro and Atkins leading the charge of rebuilding this team makes me extremely nervous because you know what they're not good at? Building a baseball team. They're not good at it. It's that's
you mean
cool.
Their whole job?
They're not good at it. It's if you need there should be someone else. It's we need someone to help us with our fan experience. Get those guys. Those guys are good.
Yeah. Helping with really well
with your fan experience. But if you are in need a winning ball club with a very deep farm team, they're not your guys.
Bad.
They're not your guys to do this.
Cam agrees with you, by the way, because they've had 9 years. They kind of dropped the ball.
I was also yelling at Twitter. I yell at Twitter a lot about our front office. And I was I said the same thing. I was listen, I don't see it with Rodgers at the helm. And there's some people, sup guys, saying that it's not Rodgers. Rodgers is not the problem. Really? Because they said it's Shapiro and Atkins, but who pays their paychecks? Who can fire them? Who has picked them? It is Rodgers, their boss. They have instituted this framework of failing, and they're paying for it. They're this is the way we're going to go.
This is so cool. Look at this.
Sign. And the thing is, we made the playoffs. Our last playoff game we won was 10 years ago now. 10 years ago that we won.
Before.
No, sorry, 2016. 2016 was the last game we won. The last time we made the ALCS was 2015.
But it was in 2016 they were technically in charge, but
they
did not build that team.
They didn't. Where's our farm system? Where is our farm system?
What farm system?
And they promised to build up. So I think that in this drought of losing, I think us as Toronto sports fans are accustomed to it. We're well, it's the way things are. No, it's not. No, it's not. We need to demand more of our ownership. We need to demand more of our officials in our ball club, those who build it, those who manage it. Because let me tell you something, buds. Yankee fans would never let this fly. Never let this shit fly.
The Yankees haven't been in the playoffs for how many years until this past year, and they were freaking the fudge out.
As we should be as well.
Correct. So, because if we talk about dollars and cents, both teams have just as much money. And actually, that was I read a recent article that had a graph of where all the major sports teams fall. And the Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox, everybody are pretty much right on dead top of each other in current day financial stuff. The only team in all sports that has some reason, some ungodly amount of money is the Dallas Cowboys. And that fan base, same thing as we're talking about here, has every right in the world to be effing pissed because they have been marketing that team as one of the best, it's America's team for football, and they can't even get in the playoffs and barely do anything this year as a 500 team. And this is like 3 or 4 years in a row, that same mess. So we're in that ballpark. We have the money. We're spending the money. We're not getting what we should be because you're not forming a full team together around that. To that point, look who we're paying right now, Liz. You're paying George Springer. You're paying Gossman. You're paying Bassett. Think of the age I just mentioned with those names.
They're old. Let me tell you something. I like them. They're old. I think George Springer's like 4 years younger than me. But like they're old. Yeah.
Baseball years are different.
They are, aren't they? Yeah, the team is old. I don't know. I remember the rebuild in 2016. They started a rebuild then. And I remember everyone was so upset that we were trading away 2017. Sorry. They were so upset that we were trading away like Martin and all the guys. And I'm like, let them go, buds. It's time to let it go. Blow it up. But that we were coming off,
got what we got.
Yeah, we were coming off a win. We got peanuts for Donaldson, I believe.
Oh, we got peanuts for Donaldson. We got many flashes of near greatness from that one reliever that is now a Cub.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I'm nervous, but I'm nervous. I don't know what's going to happen. I know what I want to happen, which usually isn't what happens with this ownership.
Yeah. So let's talk 2 hypotheticals because right now we're going to talk. Let's say this team resigns Vlad sometime in the next few weeks. That means it's all game on, that you have to find a way to make 2025 some semblance of relevant. Because you just don't want to start wasting something on that whole thing. To your point, those couple of contracts of those older gentlemen that we just talked about are gone after this season. So the money is not a problem, or it shouldn't be a problem at this point, because you're only going to go over the tax potentially this one season because you're going to lose those contracts for Springer, Gossman, Bassett, so on and so forth. The only ones we're going to have really around are Barrios and the youngsters at that point, unless you turn around and sign Bo to an extension, anything like that. So you have to put your money somewhere. Right now, the 2 best free agent options, Liz, are Anthony Santander for leftover on this team for offense.
Yep.
And some reason everybody keeps talking about Alex Bregman, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, what's with that? Let's
Springer and Breggy back together. Yay, we can be the freaking Astros. That's not how baseball works. So I don't get it.
It's I will say this as well. On the Facebook groups, everybody's like, bring back Trevor Bauer. And if that's not the loseriest loser cry of all, it's like, let's take this guy that nobody else will touch. And like, everyone's like, and he's got sexual assault allegations, which in court were proven. I don't know, he wasn't convicted, whatever. Yeah. Doesn't mean he's not a bad one.
Yeah.
But he's such toxicity in the clubhouse. Everyone's like, no, we like not touching him.
What's the mess with him?
Jays fans are like,
not worth the circus.
Yeah, Jays fans are like, let's pick up this guy. Like, this is how low we're aiming. We're supposed to be contending, and we're like, let's pick up the dregs of the MLB. Let's get some of that.
Right now, if it came down to that, I'd rather freaking bring back Ichiro as a pitcher. Or
man. Oh, let's go. I would love that. Like,
just give me something. I really don't get it. To that point, I'd rather take Santander because I think he fits this clubhouse. Bregman, at that point, same thing. I really just don't know what you're, going to get out of him. He doesn't bring the circus like Trevor Bauer, but is he going to be the MVP guy that he was a few years ago, or is he going to be another glove? We had a lot of gloves. I just don't know what you do with all these gloves and you can't hit your way out of a brown paper bag. Right now, I'd almost rather move Andres Jimenez over third, which he played in the minor leagues, and let Will Wagner play second. I think you'd get more offense out of something like that than you would get out of anything else. I just don't see by throwing. I think if you throw a brick of money at Alex Bregman, we're going to be having the same talk years from now about how we're talking about his ex-teammate, George Springer.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't really see, again, that's us, I think, the dregs of the MLB, just like reaching for stuff.
Yeah. I really hope so, because like I said, I just don't see how that fills any massive hole that we would. I'd rather give the job to Orelvis Martinez and let him try third base.
I also agree with that. We don't talk
Or
about
Arger.
anymore.
At least let one of the kids play. So let me put it this way: at least with those guys, you're getting a glove. We already love gloves.
I agree. Jake's got a comment in the chat. Let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
So the Jays are building a defensive squad to save them from all the homers the BP will give up in the late innings. Here's the thing about that. That's so fun. Isn't that fun to watch? Isn't that fun?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
that
always
fun?
good coughing up a game in the last 3 innings.
Oh, there's nothing like being there, chugging beers, and being like, bullpen's up. Let's go.
Better just get this one over with. Just keep going.
I mean,
somebody had that up the other day of what our projected bullpen is, and it's pretty damn ugly when you basically have Yimi Garcia penciling as your closer.
Nah, guys, get ready. If you're at a game, soon they're going to conscript for bullpen. You'll go there, they'll read your ticket number out. You're up next in the bullpen.
Oh, God. That would be rather amusing because that's not too far off. Hey, guess what? You get called up for the day. You get to pitch out of the Blue Jay bullpen.
Hey.
Hey. New contest. That leaves whoever has the best first, select the first pitch. That was the best one. You're going to get 50 cents throwing the ball at a guy outside the foul lines, right?
Guys, I've thrown 2 first pitches this year, and damn, it's far. It's so far. No strikes were thrown.
Yeah. That's not this year. I'm trying to find the projected opening day depth chart here for our rotation and stuff. Oh, I forgot. You still have Chad Green. So right now he's probably your closer. Jimmy Garcia. And then basically everybody we had left over at the end of last season.
They talk a big game about Chad Green. It's like, yeah, we believe Chad Green's going to be our guy. But, like, why would you think that? Why would you think, like, Chad Green, he's our guy?
Can't aim higher for a team that's supposed to be better, or at least the way they say it is. Do we trust our guys? Keywords.
We trust our guys. Tip our hat. We trust our guys.
Which, honestly, I'll give you the smallest grain of salt to adhere to with that whole thing. I do think you're going to get something out of Wagner. I do think you're going to get something out of Loperfido. I do think you're going to get something relevant out of those guys, but it's a wild card. We don't know what you're going to get out of those youngsters between those two, Orelvis Martinez, Addison Barger, whatever we continue to get out of Davis Schneider and company. There's just so many questions, Liz. That's the problem here. We don't have anything to hang our hat on to why this team will be competitive, and that's why we need to find something. Oh, there was one. I forgot that they were going after Ha-Seong Kim was the latest one, and then we have been linked to trading for Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals. So there's the other part, but let's go Jays of last year, right? Not so much for what we're currently at. I don't think the blowouts we're going to get here because I don't know if we're going to be in the relevancy at all on any level there, Liz. And that's the question, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fangraphs has Ernie Clement penciled in as our everyday third baseman. Joey Loperfido as our everyday left fielder. Nathan Lucas as our center fielder. That's interesting that they put him there. Can they have George Springer in right, Will Wagner DHing? That is what Fangraphs has as our quote-unquote starting lineup.
I'll go. Okay, here I will just say this. I will go see that team. I'm gonna go see that team. But like, do I want to pay? Do I want to pay contending team prices for that team? No, I do not want to pay contending team prices for that team. And I hope that our ownership knows that if they're gonna put that team out on the field, then like let's have like free for kids. Make it free for kids. Make it incentive based time. That like they know what's going on.
Can you get a free hot dog? Make the Looney Dog guys happy.
They don't. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like that to me spells, I don't know, like rebuild maybe. I don't know.
The one that they don't mention on this whole thing is they don't know technically what apparently Dalton Varsho ended up having shoulder surgery for his rotator cuff.
Is he good?
I thought from previous indications he was going to be back in spring training, but I'm trying to find the current projected timeline, but he's technically hurt. That's why they're saying Nathan Lucas is our current starting center fielder.
Yeah, and like I said, maybe some bats can come in, maybe some adjustments will be made prior to spring training, and
It's actually
better spot.
A note here from Ben Nicholson Smith at the beginning of December that is possibly unrealistic for him to be ready for opening day, but Varsho would be near that. So you're talking sometime in April he'll be in playing center field. Until then, yeah, fine, let the kids play center field.
Yeah, I'm gonna just make note of a comment from Cam Jenkins in the chat. Those are a lot of ifs. That's the thing. That's too many ifs. That's so many. Like that's it. I'm like, when I look at our depth chart or opening day lineup, I'm like, we don't have any guys. So that brings me back to why we're having a hard time signing people. It's like we don't have any guys, man. It's like that's sad.
So I agree with the not many guys thing, and Michael here also has said, who matter who's closed if we can't get there. If you don't have any closing opportunities, that's kind of harsh. I hope we had some closing opportunities, but that was there.
I didn't do that. Now.
Question.
That's true. I didn't do that closing math. Yeah. I don't know.
Right now, I found the projected bullpen, so I'm just going to throw this one out here. So right now, it has Yimi Garcia and Chad Green in some combination of closing. You have Eric Swanson, newly acquired Nick Saladin, who honestly that wasn't a bad move. You got him. Yeah. That's a decent arm. Ryan Burr, who we basically gave away for a box of balls to get. Brandon Little, who was
he's still on the team.
He's still on the team. He has 2 options even, so at least we can send him down.
Mitch White's gone, right? We don't have Mitch White. He was a hottie.
We don't have Mitch White. Mitch White's gone.
Good. Wait, was he a Dodger?
What was that?
Where did Mitch White go?
I honestly feel like it was the Cubs with Nate Pearson. But then we got Zach Pop and Tommy Nance in the bottom of the part of the bullpen.
I will say this again. I don't trust any of those fuckers. Like,
I would rather take the wild card of bringing Alek Manoah up in that bullpen.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, okay, so I will also say this. I feel like I'm being quite negative this episode, but whatever. Let's get it.
It's the first half hour. We'll be positive the next half hour.
We're seeing updates go through on Manoah, and he's like working out of the gym, and he's looking like fit and doing all those things. And all I can think of is, I've been through this before. I've been through this before. And everybody in the comments is like, yeah, this is your year. And I'm like, I want it to be Manoah's year. I want that for him. But it's like, I want to see you throwing a ball. Throwing a ball at a man. Throwing a ball at a man in a high-stress situation. And then I can assess kind of how you're doing, because I think a lot of it is mental.
So I'm going to turn this frown upside down. We have a comment here from one of our regulars that we got to exercise the demons. Move over. 2024 is now over.
It's over. Okay, like let's flip it. Let's talk about things that we're excited for in 2025. I'm going to start with one. I'm pumped. I think that this year opening day for the Jays is on opening day for the MLB. It's in March, like March 27, I think. Yep. And that's fun. We usually don't see the home opener. Like the home opener of the Jays is usually like mid-April. They usually shove it later because it's cold, I guess.
Yes. Well, the other part of that whole thing is we the last few years they've been renovating the ballpark, so they needed that couple of weeks to put a bow on it.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. That it was just New Year's Day.
Home opener is on the 27th against the Orioles, and they are home for a 6-game homestand. Yes.
Listen,
6-game homestand.
I'm going to be drunk. I'll be there in the seats yelling. Like, I'm going to be there.
I might have to join you.
So when people, like yesterday was New Year's Day. New Year's Day is a time that we reflect on our year and we make New Year's resolutions, right? For me, opening day is that day. Opening day is a day of new beginnings when anything can happen. It's a beautiful day. That's my day of new beginnings and resolutions.
Yeah. All is well. Can't get any worse than 0-0, right?
No. But that being said, I don't know. So I'm excited about that. Craig, what are you excited for in 2025?
right now, I'm honestly excited to see what the last ditch effort of this freaking management group would be. What does them going, oh, I got to do something? What does the oh shit moment for them actually look like?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's some level of something solid that actually does push this team to competitive, because this is 100% shit or get off the pot for Atkins at least.
Do they know that? Do you think that they know that?
If they don't know that, then they aren't reading what the whole entire country and every Blue Jays fan is reading and writing about them constantly, including, and not to be held to just this, their own people that work for the team. Look at what Keegan Matheson's been writing. Look at what Nicholson Smith's been writing.
Dude,
It's not been very nice.
No, who works directly? It's Ken Reed. Ken Reed of Sportsnet is just always like tearing the shit out of them, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that.
If it were me, I'd like to keep my job. But then again, as a journalist and a writer, you're actually supposed to write the facts and how you see it. So I give them credit to actually doing their job and telling it like it is. And to that point, we haven't seen that from them fully, or at least to this level in Blue Jays reading, at least. I haven't. It's always had that gloss of kind of like, Rogers peppering on top of it to make it look a little bit nicer. Or at least kind of like the corporate kiss butt part. Now it's like, just, nope, this team is fucking horrible. You better figure it out, or this is going to be your last stand.
Yeah.
And they need to show something. To your point, Liz, I'd be surprised if they actually get the clue and do anything.
Yeah. Homies in the chat, what are you excited about in 2025? Okay, Cam's got one. Let's go.
Cam's got one. There we go.
Cam's excited for Bo. I'm excited for Bo. I'm pumped for Bo. I say it a lot. He had 4 home runs this season. He had a hard season. And the thing with Bo is, I think this is the first time he had a very challenging season. He's been a superstar his whole career. He's had
minor leagues included, everything.
And this is his first real big setback. And I think emotionally that would be so hard, especially when you're young and everything is the end of the world, right?
Everybody forgets he's just 27 too.
He's just a baby.
Vlad is a year younger than him at 26.
Love that. Let's sign them.
Keep them. Exactly. I'd love to see the revenge tour for Bo Bichette and see what that truly looks like this year. And Jeremy's right. We did see him take a page out of Vlad Jr.'s book lately. The hair's gone.
Hair's gone. Beauty. I always thought Bo Bichette could be in a boy band, and I'm not wrong.
I agree with that. Hopefully this boy band has something to do with hitting dingers, to your point, and having some lawn balls attached to it. We'll see what happens, but
yeah. Michael's got one that I want to pull up here in my heart. That is, pick a direction. Just figure out what you're gonna do. Stop breaking my heart, because I feel like,
for the love of God,
I feel like this team lives in the gray, and they don't have the balls to take an approach and try hard at that approach. They're kind of like, we're going to do this, or we're going to do this, or and they end up doing nothing at all. They get mushy in the middle. It's like last season when they were like, we're going all in on Ohtani. Well, you fucked it, boys. Come on. And that's the thing. It's I want to see them really I don't think they have a vision. I don't think they have a vision, a long-term vision of what they want to do or how they're going to execute it.
I feel like they're firefighters. You see this when you're talking about your work day, right? You have the people that are planners, and you have the people that just solve the problem at hand, right? They're trying to solve the problem at hand in the moment and not having that plan. And I think that 100% is the downfall of their tenure as the management of the Toronto Blue Jays. Just look at how long they waited to trade Donaldson back when. That was right off the bat. And I'm not saying that wasn't going to be happening or anything, but it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. It's like, you should have pulled the trigger down. Yeah. What were you expecting? Did you really? And God, think if we had that weight on our ankles right now as we're drowning, the money that is still being paid to him by the Twins, I believe, at the moment, or the Yankees.
Really?
Yeah, he's retired. So somebody owed him that money from that contract. I don't know if it's technically up yet or not, but I really don't know. So anyway, one more thing before we talk about the flip side of the Vlad coin here and selling. What I would like in my cheers moment here is I want to see Will Wagner run away with a job on this team. I really loved watching what he was doing at the end of the season. Wish he got a little bit more play. I love his skills with the bat.
Cool guy.
He reminds me of somebody like Tony Gwynn that just knows how to hit the ball to all fields. He'd rather ground out than strike out, which nobody does these days. He's got a very good eye at the plate. I want to see what a full season or at least an extended run of him could do for the team.
Yeah, I'm gonna Michael has a comment. He's like, I hope Manoah comes back from his surgery. Same. I also want to see what our Elvis is gonna do. Like we didn't see it last year. What with his, fertility issues,
performance enhancers,
fertility. He better come back with a baby. That son of a bitch better have a baby,
or at least a baby full, or at least a basket full of baseballs that were home run balls, in the size of a toddler.
And so I want to see because we were so pumped for Elvis. Then he, got suspended, and we were like, nah. I guess it did call into question his previous achievements, but he could still be really, really good, guys.
I truly think that the bat speed and everything is not performance enhancing. There's still so much. I don't know if you and I have actually had this conversation, but Jason and I have. What do PEDs really do for a baseball player? If you're really good at making contact with the baseball, you're going to hit it farther. But if you can't hit it in the first place, you're not going to hit it.
You're not going to hit it.
A perfect case in point in this is a famous player and his brother. You know who Jason Giambi probably is.
Okay.
You don't know his brother Jeremy, who also got suspended for performance-enhancing drugs at the major league level for the Oakland A's. So the two of them, one of them was a really good hitter. The other one, not so much. And he's in the Moneyball movie as the guy that's famously traded for spending way too much time in Vegas rather than with the ball club. So good stuff. But yes, that's kind of where I'm at. You can't hit the ball. Doesn't matter what the performance-enhancing drugs did. And Elvis actually can hit the ball. So I'm assuming there's some level of reality to it, regardless of what's going on. You look
Also, Jake's got a comment there. It's like a lot. This is the thing. Their whole management style is hopefully things are going to work out.
Correct.
Hopefully stuff's going to happen. Even after 2022, the performance of the team, and then they were like, we're going to keep our guys. And you knew there was flaws there with the bats. They weren't hitting very well. They're like, we are going to keep our guys. They did it. They kept the guys. Here we are with the guys. Are the Jays going to?
The reason our new tagline for this show is "We really trust our guys."
We really trust our guys. And are the Blue Jays going to add this offseason? Well, they have a little bit. They need two more.
Yeah, and that is 100% the biggest question. And I think this right here is the direction question you were hitting, Liz. You sign Vlad or you don't sign Vlad. And if you don't sign Vlad, there's no reason to build a team around it with free agents this season because you can bring a team to the plate. And if you don't re-sign him, you only have such a window, right? So you have to get to the All-Star break and be competitive. And if you don't, you trade his ass. So there's the problem. Assuming, just playing hypothetical, let's say we don't re-sign Vlad. What do you do with this team?
That's it.
Trade it all now? Do you trade it later?
I don't know. Because I don't understand, and maybe I haven't been paying attention, or maybe I'm not knowledgeable enough to baseball.
Nobody's talking about this part. Everybody's just kind of assuming we're going to re-sign Vlad, and it scares the shit out of me.
But what would you say the management style of this front office is?
Like I said, firefight.
I don't know.
Children running around with a lighter hoping they get something to catch fire.
I don't know. They don't seem to have a long-term vision. They don't seem to be focused on the farm team. They don't seem to be focused on depth. I couldn't tell you, right? I couldn't tell you. And that makes me so nervous.
Yeah. So let's say you're in the driver's seat. Are you trading him if you can't sign him? Let's just say you find out flat out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the only thing, though. I'm trading him. I'm also understanding, who do I want to be 5 years from now? How am I going to get there? Right? What is a pathway towards contending? What does it look like? Who do we have to make relationships with? What does that mean? Right?
Is there any teams we should copy what they've been doing the last 2 years to build that team in the right direction? And there are plenty of good examples of that. And the biggest thing is right now, you have the opportunity with 2-3 superstars possibly with Vlad, Bo, and some of our starting pitching that you can trade and really backfill this farm system quickly. You talk about trading Vlad this spring or in the next few weeks to somebody because you can't sign him. The haul you're going to get for somebody getting Vlad Jr. for the entirety of the 2025 season is a dump of players. We just saw what that was for Juan Soto last season, and I don't care what any team or any media person says outside of our Blue Jays clique, there is not that much different between Vlad Jr. and Juan Soto. The payday shouldn't be terribly different. You want to argue about first base versus outfield, I still don't think that Soto can play outfield, or he's not going to play it for the entirety of his career. I will be happily proven wrong that he is the generational talent that contract says he is, but I truly think that if you're looking 10 years from now, Vlad is going to have the better career.
I agree with that, and I think, okay, this is what we know. Let's look at what we know, all right? We have Blue Jays have a hard time, or currently having a hard time attracting top-tier free agents. We know that. So what should they be doing? Focus on growing your own talent.
You got it. And that's what they need to do. And that, if, like I said, if you're trading Vlad, you're looking to do what the Padres did the last 5 years. Yeah. There was a run on the minor league system that Tatis and all those guys played in, that they were the champions of every division that they played in, all the way from single A up to triple A, and that it should have translated to this major league level. They just haven't been able to find that cherry to put on the top.
It shocked me that the Padres didn't win a championship their first year with Tatis.
Oh, I agree with you. They had everything that year, pitching, hitting, and you throw him in the midst of that whole thing in his rookie season. It was magical. Yep. But you look at what they have now. They brought probably one of the best young talents in baseball up in the last year in Jackson Merrill. You have to find that guy and trade Vlad, Bo, or whoever for that kind of a player. Young, amazing, controllable. You have to find somebody like that to be that next superstar for this team in 2 or 3 years. That's what you need out of this trade.
And they did. I guess I'm shaking my head because they did it. They grew their own talent.
And you dropped it all.
You biffed it.
Like Aaron Judge in the middle of the World Series.
You biffed it, lads. And so, again, Rogers, look at yourselves in the mirror. Look at what's happening. Please make the corrective actions needed of firing our, Shapiro and Atkins. It's just such a heartbreak that this is where we're at.
Yeah. I like this comment that we got from the last duel in gaming, too. Blue Jay office is known for pitching and defense, right? But they can't build a bullpen the last 2 years to save their lives.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna make Jeremy.
I agree with you on starting pitching and defense. Got that nailed.
That's it. We're gonna so many Team Gold Gloves banners just up there. So Jeremy's got a comment and let's talk about this. I want to get into this one.
That's a good one.
The Jays minor league system was destroyed by AA. That did happen.
It did happen.
We are often Alec Anthopoulos was the dude, and he made big moves, but that did happen. So the current
go ahead. You'll finish it. The current office
did have a gap to fill. He was I'm going all in here to make this win, to make this run, and I was into it then. I'm still into it, but
Yeah. So I'm going to make the argument. So think of those trades. Who did we really give up? The only person that is technically having a decent major league career out of that whole thing was the throw-in pitcher at the end, and that is Matt Boyd. Was one of the players we traded for David Price.
Yeah,
we traded Farm for what ended up turning out for all those other teams to be nothing. And that is the fear that I have with this front office. To your previous point earlier, let's say you have to trade Vlad with this front office. You are going to get what we got for Roy Halladay, which was nothing.
Sorry, Michael's got a comment.
Yep.
How many drafts has there been since then?
Oh, they've been in management for 9 years, so they've had 9. Well, this will be their 9th draft, so they've had plenty of time to draft well. Is the other part to that whole thing that they can't do right? The way they evaluate young talent, they've been having a problem. So we haven't been backfilling.
That's quick. It. There's something wrong with the staffing there, right? There's something wrong with the whole team, in all the way down to player scouting.
Or maybe these pieces are not coming up the way they want to through the system. It could be a billion one things. That's the reason they're prospects.
I get that. I get that sometimes prospects don't work out. I understand that.
Yeah.
But come on, man. There's got to be something.
who have we drafted that you even are relevant to the outside of the guys that we have talked about the core of this team? And one of them didn't really turn out in Biggio.
Biggio, no.
Think about it right now. Right now, Arjun Namala is the best person they've drafted, and he's still not at the major league level.
He's like 10, man. He's giving.
He looks like he's 10. He's got a hell of a bat, though.
Well,
Speaking of New Year's resolutions, I'm looking very, very forward to watching Arjun Namala play at the AA level this year. So,
I like that. Yeah, I do like. Yeah, Arjun, I'm stoked for that. Like that, yeah. I bought. Like I don't really, surprisingly, I don't really mess with baseball cards very much. But I bought my nephew a signed Arjun rookie card for like $30 because like Perfect. It's fun, it's cute, he's coming up. Like that's
I really truly think that kid's got the talent to do it. I really do. So he's he passes the eye test, and not just the way you think.
Well, I mean, he looks nice. Like, he's like I'm like he's. Here's the thing about him is he swings a lot. He's fun to watch.
Yep.
That's it. Like he's cute as a button. He's a little guy out there. Just
so we have a question for Cam on the Vladdy front here that I know you saw in the chat. Yes, to me, Vlad Jr. is the best first baseman in Major League Baseball. And is there any signs that he's not going to be anything but the best first baseman in Major League Baseball for the next 10 years? He's young. He's talented. I'm giving him that, and I'm going to get that same deal out of him if I had to.
I don't even care if it's a bad deal, man. I'm so tired of just feeling bad all the time. Just buy me this.
Give me something. I need something to tap me up here.
I feel like a little girl who just wants a pony for Christmas. Just get me this.
Give me the pony.
Just give me this pony.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I'm going to put it back to Michael. No, okay, I am a baseball card. That is correct. I don't really mess with them because, like, I love junk. I will talk about baseball cards. I do love junk wax, and for $5, I bought this one with Vladdy and a bat. I just thought it was cool. But, like, no, I don't really covet the cardboard. But, I do have a signed Reese McGuire card on my fridge. Yeah, that I do.
There you go. Surprised you just didn't put it in the bathroom. There it is. We need to stop saying the Blue Jays. Yeah. So to your point,
yes,
there's a valid comment that I'm fine keeping them. I don't want to.
I don't want to trade them.
I don't have to. I'd love to keep them both.
Yes,
but if you can't sign them, what do you do?
Exactly, and that's the thing is like. I wish Rogers, and they said it before. Management said we plan on keeping them together. I'm like, if they resign both, extend both Vladdy and Bo, man, I'll be so happy. Like I will like, I don't know. I'll be high fiving in the street and like chugging beers. That would make me so happy. I don't know. I just don't think they will.
And that would get us back to this comment from Jeremy, which is it's Vlad's house.
I was at that game. And everyone got really mad about that. Oh, it was against the Yankees. I will say something. I'm going to out myself here. It was the game that I think that was the game where there was a home run. Somebody, I think Aaron Judge hit a home run, and a Jays fan caught it and gave it to a Yankees fan. And it was all cute. Yep. I was booing the hell out of that moment. I was like, throw it back.
If the kid wasn't a Yankee fan, I'd agree with you. If I was giving it to a Blue Jays fan, it was like, okay, fuck it. He shouldn't do that anyway.
I was booing that whole thing. I was like, throw that ball back. That kid can find his own ball. I have no heart, apparently. But, yeah, that was it. They still chirp us. Yankees fans still chirp us with whose house that is because they win there sometimes.
Yep. So I think that this might be the ideal standard. If you were going to extend both of them, I think that's the ballpark that the Blue Jays are shooting for financially with Vlad. I don't know how many years the 500 compiles to, but it would not shock me that Bo is looking for 350. And that's because he is still 27, like we mentioned.
Yep.
He's had one bad season. He's had 2 years where he's led the American League in hits. There are so many reasons why, regardless of last season, Bo Bichette will get paid by a Major League Baseball team what he's asking, especially with the ridiculous amount of money that we've all been seeing that Major League Baseball players are getting this offseason. So,
and we've seen Bo get better. Like we were all
injury season.
Remember that time we had Marcus Semien and we made him play second? Was it second? Yeah. So I don't know. Bo's gotten better as a shortstop. I would like to keep him.
Yeah. And then here's the worst case scenario. if Blue Jays fans are not happy with his quote unquote play on defense, we just traded for a Gold Glove award-winning second or baseman who is actually a shortstop.
Yeah.
Take those two, turn that frown around, and see what happens. Because at the end of the day, if Bo can play second base, it's not the worst thing in the world. And you have a guy the same age as him that has already won a Gold Glove at shortstop. Because right now, that is the Blue Jays contingency plan for the next 3 years at shortstop.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Was when they signed. Who is the player they signed? I can't remember his name because
it was Andres Jimenez.
When they signed Jimenez, I saw the rumors like Bo's going to be gone. Bo will be gone, and then he didn't go. So
it's the insurance policy. The Blue Jays still think they compete. That's why they haven't traded Bo Bichette. Although that is all you still hear everywhere about the Blue Jays have been dangling. And I saw the worst trade offer I've ever seen in my life the other day after who got traded the other day? Luis Arias got traded from the Padres to the Seattle Mariners. It was for basically a bunch of prospects.
Yep.
Somebody was using that as the trade basis to trade for Bo Bichette. Arguably, I think Bo Bichette's a little bit better of a player than Luis Arias, or at least has the longer tenure of being that good. Arias is a hell of a hitter, but he's a second baseman, not a shortstop. So, in that equation, I forget it's Cam something from the Braves. He's their number 3 prospect, is a pitcher, but he's 2 years easily away from helping this ball club with anything. Yeah. He's in the minor league season. If the Blue Jays are content on trading anybody, and that's what they're getting, they're signaling to everybody that they're trading the rest of everybody. Because you're not getting a guy that's helping this team win today if you trade Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that,
agreed.
If let's say you were doing that on the win now level and you're trading Bo Bichette because you can trade him. You're moving Jimenez to short. You're letting Will Wagner play second base, or Ralvis, Addison Barger all day, every day. One of those 3 people are playing second base. And then you damn well better be getting that pitcher. That's at least our 4th or 5th starter.
Yeah.
Or a crazy good bullpener.
Agreed. I'm going to go to the chat for a second. Can you bring up Jake's comment?
Yes.
Okay. This ties into it. So I want to address this kind of comment first. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, This management, it's been hard. And that's it. So you're saying no one is asking Judge to get traded after he cost him with an error in the World Series. That's correct. Okay. And we've got another comment here saying Rogers has the money. Are we okay with making another 20 years without the playoffs? I really believe our fan base is not good at directing kind of their anger to the decision makers who make this team, right? It's Bo's excellent at baseball. We have these great baseball players. We have this young talent coming up, but I don't feel the momentum. I don't feel the way forward. Our bullpen is trash, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard with Shaq and style baseball. I think that's the vibe that we're in. That's it. It's hard. I don't know. That's one comment of it's really hard. It's gonna be hard.
I agree. But to the comment that Michael said, I'm not saying that Bo moves anytime soon to second base. Jimenez is 100% a contingency plan if they decide to make a move, or he's gone after this season. You still have a person on that side of the keystone, and we already know we have 500 second basemen. So,
man, that's what I'm just gonna. Yeah, here's the thing about Shaq and style baseball. Shaq and style baseball is we're gonna make the wild card. It's not we're gonna win the division. It's we're gonna get a banner for making the wild card, and it's such a loser mentality. It's like, man, I want to win it all, right?
Yeah.
I want to win it all. I want to go deep in the playoffs. I want to have, if we don't win it all, I want to have a Mets-style insane kind of run. But I want to win the division. And it breaks my heart that we haven't won the division in 10 years. Why do we not have a management saying, this year, we're winning the division. We're going to do it. It's like, no, maybe they'll make the wild card, and that's good enough for them.
Yeah. I don't want to I want to win.
And I want to win.
It says anything
so
about we're going to win. Yeah. And that's the catch. This just feels like the same thing we've all been chasing for the last how many years. And that is 100% the problem.
Yeah.
And you can't turn that around. And to that point, I think you saw this. MLB Network had on Twitter, and I tweeted out from our account. That was me. Jealous. I'll take that one, everybody. But it was, what was your wish for the 2025 baseball season? Or what was your perfect, ideal, miracle scenario? I can't remember the exact question, but I wrote that somehow the 2025 Toronto Blue Jays somehow defy all odds with their 2020-24 roster and somehow manage to win the World Series in 2025.
That's kind of like what they want. I have two kind of goals for the next season. Number one, I want to stay out of the fucking news. I don't want to be in the news anymore. All right. Number one.
Well, you can hide here on the pod. You'll be all set.
Number two is, listen, if my wish is that if we fail to be contenders this year, that our Atkins and Shapiro finally get their comeuppance. Like, finally. I feel like they're just two evil supervillains. Like, they're such cartoons of like businessmen that they seem like after that postseason interview they did, that press thing they did where they refused to acknowledge Vladdy as talented, which is like, I guess, part of their bargaining.
The worst idea ever, by the way. Yeah, piss them off. That's how all that works.
I'm such tired of these assholes. Like, that's
boy. So I agree with you flat out. So Liz, last 10 minutes of the show or so, is there anything that we haven't talked about tonight that you would like to talk about?
Wait, I think there was. I immediately forgot about it, but I was like, there was something there. I don't know, man. Baseball is awesome. I'm just going to the reminder that baseball is magic, and it's going to be fun to be shouting at the television, regardless of the fact that our front office is trash and it's gaslighting us. Like, that's still fun. It's still fun to hang out with your buddies and high five over dingers. Like, that will always be fun. Yeah, sure, we have corporate greed stripping that from us and from our hearts, but damn, baseball is still fun.
Yes. And maybe best case scenario where this year's Milwaukee Brewers story for the baseball. You know, Brewers were not expected to learn anything from what they did from even selling people off post 2023, came in 2024, and they ran all the way to the playoffs and put up a hell of a fight. So maybe there's something there. Who knows?
Yeah, Michael's got a comment here. It's, what do we make of Bo saying during the season is he's open to staying if he could play with Vlad for the rest of his career? Feels like he's just putting everything on Vlad. I don't know if I believe any of this shit. Like, I don't know if that's true. He was flirting with what other teams earlier, it seemed. It is a business. I don't know. Yeah, it's true. He's because there's no real commitment from him to be like, I want to stay with the Toronto Blue Jays. So I want to play with Vlad.
And I hope he really does. I really hope that would work out and keep them together, because they are a heck of a tandem, especially when they're both firing on all cylinders. It just creates interesting baseball both on defense and offense, because they are both studs for their positions. So I agree. I really hope that but it does feel like after all these years, a little bit of lip service.
Yeah, I also know that I feel like Bo is also a super introvert as well. We don't get a lot from Bo. I've never met the guy. He never reached out to this sweet face, apologized for any of that, which is fine. But like I was at batting practice. Nice game. I was at batting practice and I was trying to talk to him, and they're like, everybody's like, Bo is a super introvert. He doesn't mess with the press. He doesn't mess with things like that. So I take what he says when he says that I listen, but the way that was phrased, I don't know what that means for the Blue Jays as an organization.
Yep. Nope. Totally agree with you. So I'm going to mention something. I just happened to notice somebody's birthday flying around through, Twitter while we're on here. It's actually David Cohn's 62nd birthday today. So there you go.
There we go.
Former Blue Jay World Series champion. Game on. Maybe that's the omen, because we're supposed to be talking about how good this team is, and we're talking about a World Series champion. Something will rub off.
Okay. Do we want to have any spoilers at this point about what may be coming down on our podcast, or no?
Yes, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
So on that note, I almost forgot. I can't believe that. So we have something very exciting for next week. We have been talking with former Blue Jay, Jay Jackson, who has a new book coming out, who is going to come on the show next week and talk about all things Major League Baseball, his career, his wonderful new book. And we are going to just pick his brain on wonderful, fun things that maybe happened in the Blue Jay bullpen in his tenure there and see what happens. I had the pleasure of meeting him last year at friend of the show, Scott Belford of the Walk Off Podcast, Baseball Town in-person show, and had a nice chat with him. Apparently he remembered me. He wants to chit chat, and we're going to have some fun with him next week. So make sure you tune in to see what we get into with Major League pitcher Jay Jackson next week.
Good plug, bud. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, be there. Chirp in the chat.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for the couple hundred people that came in and out of the show this evening. Thank you very much for everybody in the cheap seats giving us all the comments and questions and everything. It was very fun for Liz and I to be chit-chatting with you. Make sure you tune in every Thursday evening for the live stream. We are live at 6 o'clock Eastern time, so we can give some more fun to everybody in their commutes and everything like that. We've been noticing that more of you have been able to join at that time rather than at 7 p.m. So we're going to keep trying to do that one. We greatly appreciate. This was why we built this show up in the first place, was to chit-chat with more of you and have a good time here on the Barroom Chat. That is the Jaybird Watching Podcast. So thank you very much. Tune in anywhere else you can, wherever you get your podcasting pleasures, and we will see you next week. Cheers. Game on.
Thank you for listening to the Jaybird Watching Podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at BirdwatchingGC, and our YouTube channel. If you want to support the show and get extra content, please consider joining to our Patreon at patreon.com/birdwatchinggc. Go Jays, go.
Woo!